Do you guys want to speculate what is next for Nate Diaz? Do you want to guess? Because we have had a few things off. I mean, let me back up to the night that Nate is supposed to take on Chimaev. Didn't flinch. The world thought he would. Ends up with Tony Ferguson. It's the last fight on his contract. He rides it into the sunset. I mean, let's back up to then, because the belief going in was how unhappy Nate was with the UFC. But we hadn't heard Nate say that. Other people were saying it. Nate finishes the match with Tony, takes the microphone, and says just the opposite. He said beautiful things about the UFC. As a matter of fact, he told everybody, I will be back. But he was going to go do something else for a period of time first. So people said he's going to go and box Jake Paul. People said he's going to go and start a promotion company. I mean, just by example, it was speculation, but we didn't hear clearly from Nate. And there was a few things that as history has gone by, we've gotten wrong. Now, Nate is getting ready to fight Jake Paul. This is a week ago. And he's doing an interview. And again, he mentions the UFC and in a very positive way. Not in ways as though other people had told us he felt. It turned out that wasn't accurate. Nate had no hard feelings. He had what he felt was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Went and took it. So I'm just suggesting for you, is he going to do it again? Right now, there's talk of a MMA match, a rematch with Paul. Paul said he will only do it within the PFL. I think Paul's tied up there in some degree. There was even a report that Paul's organization helped to start the pay-per-view arm, and maybe that's where we're going. I'm just suggesting for you, I don't know that fight could get scooped up elsewhere. If Nate wanted to go do that fight, it seems like it would be over there. But what if he doesn't? What if he wants to look at other attractive options? I mean, it seemed as though once Nate left, that the trilogy with Conor McGregor, which is one of the most sought-after matches in the entire industry, is now off the table. But as time's gone by, Conor's still out. Right? The biggest thing that led us to believe we won't get to Nate Conor 3 ever was the calendar. We believe there wasn't enough time reasonably that Conor's going to do another match or two and be done. That's a really good guess, by the way. If you want to be irresponsible to guess that, you'd be very safe money to bet he doesn't do 5 matches. I don't think a single one of you would even disagree with that. But with the delay, with the injury, with the USADA, with the rule, time keeps on getting pushed out, and it keeps on looking like that's more of a chance. And I'm just sharing for you what Jake threw out a number. I think he told Nate, hey, we'd come over and do $10 million. Here's your offer, $10 million. Rematch me, MMA, PFL. And the number for Nate against Conor, I would think be very, very comparable and likely higher. And I don't know if that would intrigue him more. I don't know if the beef and the personal, from a competitive standpoint, that Nate had with Conor, I don't know that that is superior to what Nate has with Jake. I don't know that it is. I don't know that it isn't. I'm suggesting for you, there's a whole conversation there. And what seemed unobtainable now looks very possible. So where does Conor go? And what if it's not Conor? Dustin Poirier and Nate have a history as well that the story writers and pundits have not done a great job of remembering. Dustin Poirier, the night Nate Diaz fought George Masvidal for the title. No, it wasn't that night. I'm close. It was New York. It was Dustin and Nate. It was signed. It didn't get done. It was signed. The match ended up, there was a pullout. Was it Poirier that pulled out? And was it the same card? Was it the same date? Is that where Masvidal came in? You get my point, though, that there was a history, there was a contract, something led them to each other. Something they both weren't happy about, and that's how they both operate. And it was to the point that Dustin was even going to go up to 170 pounds, and then it ended up not happening. I'm just bringing to you. There's a lot of options. I have no other point than that. And if you were to start to guess those options, what do you think? I mean, where do you think Nate is going to go next and win? He doesn't look to fight every 3 to 4 months like other guys. So we could be talking midway through, even halfway through 2024, which might sound like a long time away. It's a snap of the fingers, as we all understand. But that's another thing that would line up with Conor and keep options open, which keeps the negotiation and the talk very open for Nate Diaz. I feel as though the door is wide open for what he wants to do. Is there going to be another compelling person that has the sense that God gave Geese to at least call Nate out for boxing? I'm going to predict no. Considering they missed their opportunity, which was the entire build-up to his boxing match, and they missed their second opportunity, which was the backside of it, right now, I'm going to guess no. So I'm going to guess it's MMA. But I don't think it's a lock that that's going to be Jake, even if that's what Nate's burning feeling is today. I think he's had that same burden, that same drive for McGregor. I don't know where he stands with Poirier or what that business is, but Poirier has taken to social media and he's made mention of it. So it seems like there's a lot of options right now. And what Nate's going to do next, if that does tie in with what Conor's going to do next, starts to make it very clear that we need an opponent for Michael Chandler.